What time is it? It's clue number 1 time. Let's get started right now. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com as we celebrate creativity with you. This is clue number 1 for the mystery crochet along. In today's mystery, we are going to be revealing the starting of the Afghan. You will notice today that we are going to be making granny squares, and you have to make 20 of these granny squares, and then basically once you have those 20 done, you can wait for me until next week. All clues will be released on Tuesdays going forward until the end of the clues on clue number 10. So stay tuned right now and let me show you how to get started. This granny square is not exactly what you would think. I'm putting it together on the final when you're coming all the way around. So be paying attention to that in just a moment. So here is clue number 1, and we basically have to create 20 of these granny squares. They have to be the same color. It's recommended that all the squares be the same color configuration throughout because it'll look amazing at the end. If you want to change your colors, that's up to you. Don't say I didn't warn you. So here we have what we need to do is 20 of these. There's only 4 revolutions going all the way around, and then we fasten off. Strongly recommend, let's deal with the tails at the end of this this particular clip so that you can get those all ready, because when we're ready for clue number 2, you really don't want your tails all hanging out everywhere. So this is the main color. You do need 4 colors, and this is a nice color that the other colors are gonna sit on top of. You will see the color combinations that were provided on yarnspirations.com, and when you look at that, you'll kind of get an idea of what the designers are thinking, because they've done this in several different ways in order to inspire you further. So let's begin, and we are going to start off with the slip knot. I'm just leaving a generous tail so I can deal with that afterward, and we can insert our hook at this time, and we need to create the center ring for your square that you're making. To begin, remember that this never counts as 1, and we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and simply at the end now we want to form the ring, so we're going to insert the hook into the beginning chain like so, pull through and through, and you have the center ring. And what I want you to do is put this straggler, the loose end, on top around it so that we can bury it into the next revolution. Let's begin round number 1, and round number 1 is like a standard granny square, but how we finish is slightly different than what I'm used to. So watch. We're going to start off in chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and we're gonna go back into the center of the square, and we're going to double crochet 2 more times. So 1 and 2. And now this is one side of the square, so we're now going to form the corner, and to form the corner on these ones here, we chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. We come back into the center ring. See how this is on top there? We're just burying it along, and we're gonna put 3 double crochets. So in the rules of crochet, when I chained that 3 to start with, that was actually one of the double crochets that we had. So we're gonna turn another corner, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then come back in again, that straggler's in, and 3 more double crochets. Like so. So now we have, you can see that we have one corner, or one side, 2 side, 3 side we have to finish. So we have 1, 2, and 3 for another corner, coming back into the center of the ring for 3 more double crochet. And I've never finished off the square exactly how it's showing here, but I actually look a lot better. I'm surprised I never thought about it sooner. We're going to just chain 1 only, and then we're going to half double crochet to the top of the beginning. So we're just gonna wrap going into the top of the beginning, chain 3, pull through, and then pull through all of it, and this allows you to be right into the very corner to start the next revolution, which will be round number 2. Let's begin round number 2. We're going to start off immediately in chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Coming back into that same space, we're going to double crochet 2 times. So 1 and 2. So this is half of a corner that we're making, and we're gonna complete the other half when we come back all the way around. We're simply just going to chain 1 only, and then just jump to the next corner over here, and we're going to put in 3 double crochet, just like so, and then we're turning the corner, so that means that we're gonna chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, coming back into the same corner as we turn it. So we're going to 3 double crochet again. So you're getting a perfect corner. Okay, chaining 1, coming into the next one over here, and 3 double crochet. This is the other corner. So the corners just get further apart from each other, and in the next revolution we'll be doing with spaces in between the corners. And to turn, chain 3, coming into the same corner for 3 more double crochet. Okay, chain 1, coming into the next corner for 3 double crochet. Okay, chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, coming into the same corner. We want to make sure we turn around. We're turning that corner. So here we are. We're coming back to the very corner that we started off with. Here you can see it's not complete, so we want to chain 1 first, and then we're going to put in 3 double crochet. But how we finish is unusual, and maybe you've done this before. I've never done it like this, but I actually like it a lot better. So to finish off, we're going to chain 1 and then half double crochet to the top of the beginning chain 3, just like so, and that puts you right back in the corner again, and that's what we have going on so far. So let's move on to round number 3. Now that I've taken you all the way around on round number 2, round number 3 is just simple. It's just we have spaces, more spaces in the middle. So I'm gonna start you off, and then I'm gonna get you to finish off the rest of it on your own. So you're just gonna start off chaining 3. Whoops, that was 2 and 3, and we're going to double crochet 2 more times into that same corner, and we're gonna come back and finish that corner, and I'll show you how to do that for sure. Okay, so we have our 2 in there, so that chaining 3 counts as 1, chain 1, and now we're into a space in between the corners, as you can see, and so we want to put in 3 double crochet into the spaces, just like this. Okay, and then we separate it with then chain 1, and then we start the next corner. So the corners still continue to be 3 double crochet, 3 chain, and 3 double crochet. 2 and 3. See, very easy. Crochet granny squares are one of the most popular items on the face of the earth for crocheters. So we have this, and so again we're gonna come into the middle here. So we're going to chain 1 first, 3 double crochets into the middle, and then basically once you get that done, make sure that you chain 1 and then start the next corner. Please do the remainder of round 3 on your own, and we'll meet you back up, and I'll show you just to remind you how to finish off the end over here. Okay, let's finish number 3, round 3 together, and we're just gonna come into the final corner. You can see it's already started, and we're just going to put in 3 double crochet into that spot. So this is the other side of that first corner that we started with, and again just like before we want to chain 1 and then finish it off with a half double crochet at the top of the chain 3 and put it there, and then we're back in the corner again. We have only one more revolution to do for the squares before it completes off the mystery clue for today, and then basically we're going to get started at that point. So let's move on to round number 4, which is the final of today's mystery clue. To start off on round number 4, as per the instructions, what we need to do is that we need to go back 1 stitch. Okay, so we're just gonna insert back into the 1 stitch and grab the yarn and pull through and through. That's a slip stitch, and so we just moved 1 back. We're now going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. The reason for it is that this corner, the way that we're gonna start, is different than what we have been doing. So we just chained 3, and now we're going to double crochet 2 more times into here. So 1 and 2, and now we're going to turn the corner. So before we were starting off there and then starting to go down the side, but this time we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, coming into the same space, and we're gonna complete the full corner. So when we finish this off, we don't want to finish right on a corner piece like we have been doing, because you'll see that it makes sense in the future that we do not want any kind of abnormalities right here in the corner. So let's begin. We're going to just work along the side. So we just chain 1, and again it's like before, we put in 3 double crochet into each one of the gapping spaces, followed by a chain 1. Corners will still be done the same. as far as 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and you'll continue that same thing all the way around. When we come back, I'm gonna have you do the rest of this just like you have been doing. There's no tricks to it. I'll show you how to finish off, and then I'll give you some quick tips, and then that concludes today's mystery. So I'm coming up all the way around. You can see that the final corner is actually made completely. I have my 3 in here. Remember, yeah, you need to chain 1 first, and then we're just going to go into the top of the chain 3 that we started off with, pull through and through for a slip stitch to finalize that off. So what we have to do, Stu, now is trim our yarn. We're actually gonna finish off completely. What I strongly recommend for you right at this point, finish off your end, do it properly, and just weave it in. And what I would recommend for you, because this is just a tip for you if you wish, is that get a darning needle and finish it off right. And so what I would recommend is do it right now, because we're gonna have some loose ends to deal with throughout this project, and it's easier to deal with it at the time than it is at the end of the project when you have a lot of tails to work with when it comes to that. So finish it off right, and then basically get a bin, bag, or box to be able to put all of your squares in. You only need 20, and then basically you can meet me for the next clues and be all ready. So if your tails are already in, you're just gonna be able to start your next element to this clues right away, and you can get started and have a great time. So that's how you would do the first set of clues. So basically do 20. Oh, make sure you get rid of that one right in the middle too that we buried. Get everything perfectly ready, and then you have to do 20 of the same color squares in order to complete this. So there you have it. There is clue number 1 out of 10 clues. Get all your 20 squares done. Meet me back here next Tuesday as we have fun in being able to celebrate creativity with you. So wait till you see next week's clue. It's gonna totally throw you for a loop. Until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. We'll see ya. Who's ready for a mystery? I have clue number 2 of the mystery crochet along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. This is clue number 2 of the mystery crochet along. We have 10 clues all together. Today is going to be throwing you for a loop. Today we are going to be building a layer on top of last week's basically granny squares that you have created. This one here, this layer is going to sit on top and form an X on the top, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Trust in me, you're going to want to complete this. So for today you need to complete 20 of these, but let me show you how to do it first. And of course, if you need the clues, you can always go onto yarnspirations.com in order to get that information, and there's a link in the more information of this video in order for you to get the written instructions as well as diagrams. Welcome to clue number 2. We're going to do the next layer. Now this afghan is all about layering stuff on top of each other. That's what makes it really cool. So we had the blue last week, and now we're going to accent it with a nice color that really kind of contrasts with it to make it really stand out. And we're going to create an X on top of the granny square. Here's what the back looks like at this point. You can see that it's popped out through the middles just like so. And it's not that obvious. The back of this afghan looks okay, but it's not fabulous, not like the front. But all your work is just going to be resting right on top to create this beautiful X. So without further ado, let's get started now. For clue number 2, you can see that there's written instructions, and I have to say, if you can't visualize this, then it's very hard to tell. Because it's a mystery, you really don't know what's going on in there. All of the instructions throughout this entire tutorial have diagrams for each one of the steps. When you see it like this, it makes a lot of sense. This is a great opportunity to learn how to read crochet diagrams if you're ever confused on how to do it. For myself, I'm a crochet diagram reader. This totally makes sense, and I'm gonna be showing you the complete step-by-step as we go and make an X on top of your granny square. So let's get ready. We want to start off. Now you can fasten on yarn depending on how you prefer. I prefer to do a slip knot myself, and just to be sure that I'm totally getting it so that it doesn't ever fall out later. So I created a slip knot. I'm gonna insert my hook in. So what I want to do is that I want to start on the project, and if I'm looking at the diagram or in the written instructions, you'll notice that you have to start off in the corner, but you have to start off with the middle one here. Okay, so there's 3. You start off with the middle and we're going to join this yarn. So just grab both of them at the same time, going around, pulling it through and through, and that really locks it into position. That's just a personal preference for me. And so what we have to do as per the instructions is that we have to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet into that same spot just like this. And what I want to do is I want to trap that straggler on top so that it catches it underneath, so I don't have to worry about it. So that was 1 single crochet. So now we have to chain 1, and here's how we're going to do the corners. So now that we chain 1, we're gonna start off right in the corner, and what we have here is that we're gonna start off with a single crochet first, just like this. So single crochet, I'm just taking my time. I'm going to do a half double crochet now, and now we're really gonna come around that corner really quickly like a race car, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and now we need to finish off the corner just how we started off with, so the next one would be a half double. Okay, and then the next one into the same one will be 1 single crochet. I'm gonna be doing this entire X on camera with you, so just bear with me if you're not getting it at this time. So what you have to do now is that you have to chain 1, and then coming to the next middle one here, so right in the middle, is that we're going to do a single crochet. So here comes the fun part. Here is the X that we're about to create. So to always do the spaces for the X, it always is gonna be chain 3. So if you remember that, it makes it really easy. So we're gonna go 1, 2 and 3, and we're gonna come down on an angle. So follow this, see how it comes down on an angle? Just like so. We wanna come to the next one right in the middle, and we want to go around through the back of there. Okay, this is called the front post single crochet. So we're gonna just come around and we're just gonna single crochet right on top of that so it stays on top, and then we're going to chain 3 again. So 1, 2, 3, moving down to the next one on an angle. Okay, do you see how it's in the corner? So we're coming down to the middle one, and we're gonna do a front post single crochet, and then we're going to chain 3, and we're gonna come down to the one that is just right in the center right here, like so, and single crochet, front post single crochet. So now we're gonna work our way up, and we're gonna go up to the next one up here. So just like you started, I told you it's chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, coming up to the next one that's available to you on an angle. Okay, it's right in the middle, front post single crochet, chain 3, 2 and 3, coming up to the next one right in the middle like so, and then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and now we're back up into the corner, and we're going to do it exactly how you did it over here. So we're going to start off right in the middle, so we're gonna go right into the middle stitch for a single crochet, chain 1, and now we're gonna do a corner. Do you remember how to do the corner? If you don't, here's how you do it. Single crochet, half double crochet. Now we're gonna go around the racetrack real quick, so we're gonna do 3 double crochets. Okay, and then we're gonna start coming more narrower again, so we're going to do half double and then single, and we do that for every corner. We're going to chain 1, and then coming into the middle one here for a single crochet, and now we're gonna start coming down in order to form the other side of the X. So we're going to chain 3 first, 1, 2 and 3, front post single crochet into the next layer down here. Okay, so you see how it skips down, and then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, coming down into the middle. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and now you're coming into the final one here. Okay, it's the one right in the center for front post single crochet. We're now gonna move up, so you can see how we're creating the X right now. Just think of Hollywood squares. This is the X. So we're gonna go 1, 2 and 3 to the middle, to the next one up on an angle, 1, 2 and 3 up to the next one on an angle, front post single crochet, and now we're coming up to the outside edge, so we're gonna go 1, 2 and 3. You already know how to do the edge, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You come to the middle one for a single crochet, chain 1, and now we play with the corner again. So it's gonna be 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, 3 double crochet, okay, 1 half double crochet as we come around the other side, and then 1 single, and then we're going to chain 1 and then come to the middle one here for a single, and then we come back down again. So let's do that again. So 1, 2 and 3 coming down on an angle to the next layer for a front post single crochet, 1, 2 and 3 coming down to the next layer, 1, 2 and 3 coming down to the next layer, which will be the one right in the middle. So as far as we need to go, and now we're gonna chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, coming back up on an angle to the next layer up, 1, 2 and 3, just like so. Coming to the next layer, 1, 2 and 3, coming up to the next outside edge. Okay, you're right on the outside now. So 1 single crochet, chain 1, and let's do our corner. So it's 1 single crochet, 1 half double, 3 double crochets. When you're doing all 20 of these, this kind of stuff that I'm doing right now is so easy to remember, it's not even funny. So half double and single, and then chain 1, and then coming to the middle. And let's go back down again. So we're almost getting our X complete at this point. So 1, 2 and 3, next layer down, okay, next layer down, 1, 2 and 3, this is the final, and then 1, 2 and 3. Let's work our way back up. We're coming up to the conclusion, just like so. And then 1, 2 and 3, next one coming up, and so then we're gonna finish off. We're gonna go 1, 2 and 3, and then we finish off with a slip stitch right in the beginning single crochet that you started off with, just like there. So that completes your X, and that completes off this clue. What I'd strongly recommend at this point, let's weave in our ends. Take care of your loose ends right away. It's just a lot easier to deal with, and then essentially just pull this through just like this. Now the way that I had you bury it in the very beginning just makes it a lot easier for you to not have to worry about that one. So you don't only have to worry about your end, and just weave it through the same color only. Just weave it back through and go 3 times. So 1, 2, make sure you don't over tighten it, and then go 3. 3 is the magic number for that, to really hide in your ends so they never fall out on you. And then essentially once you get that done, you can trim off your work like so, and that concludes off, and this is what it looks like at this point, and you are now done clue number 2. So please do all 20 of these squares with the exact same color, and then meet me back next week and we have more stuff for you then. So what'd you think of that? An X on top. Where is this Afghan going? Can't tell ya. It's amazing. Please do all 20 squares now. You can mix in, your colors if you want to. I would recommend that you keep all the colors the same until you really get a good idea of what's going on. Maybe you want to do a second Afghan in order to kind of play around. You only had to do 20 squares, and so that gives you an idea. The squares are going to get a bit bigger, and you can see this Afghan is going to start materializing before your very eyes. Stay tuned next week, because next week we're going to be throwing you for a loop as we add more layers to the top of your granny square. Who's ready for a mystery? I am. Today is clue number 3 of the mystery crochet along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as yarnspirations.com for clue number 3 of the mystery crochet along. Clue number 3 has 2 different things that we need to do in order to complete this week's challenge. This week we're going to be making 2 layers that kind of interweave with each other but are actually kind of working differently than what you would expect. But I'm not going to tell you exactly why you need to do what you need to do, because I'm going to leave that for clue number 4 as things, because the final layer that I'm about to show you has a lot more to it, but I'm going to leave that as a mystery. So without further ado, you can get the more information of this video if you would like to see a link for the pattern instructions as well as a diagram if it's easier to follow along with that at the same time. So without further ado, let's get started right now. In week number 3, our goals are to complete 2 more layers that will look like this at the end. You'll have these big loops and then you will have a beautiful thing going on. So what we're going to do in this particular one is that we're going to be chasing this around just like this, and then we're going to be adding another layer. So we're going to be doing 2 steps on week number 3, and you can see this is what it looks like at this point. Again, strongly recommended that you weave in your ends as you go so that you're not having to do a lot of fancy footwork at the end. And this is what it looks like at the end. Whoops, didn't take care of that, but you can see how the stitches are playing with each other as you're doing this revolution. So without further ado, let's get started. So week number 3, this is what it currently looks like, and you've been noticing on Facebook on how amazing it is. Everybody's got these X's, but where are we going from here? Today we're going to be working on it, and we're going to be adding 2 layers. I prefer the diagrams, but there are written instructions just in case you prefer. Now this is requiring 2 rounds to do on each one, and you will notice that it's going all the way around. What is happening up here? I really can't tell you yet. That is for mystery clue number 4. So without further ado, let me show you what you need to do. We're going to start off with the green, and then we're going to go to the red. In a diagram, how did I know that the green was first? Well, look, the red is attaching to the green, so I know that the green is first. So this is a great opportunity to learn how to read patterns at the same time as far as doing the diagrams, as well as cross-referencing it with the written instructions as well. So let's begin to look at this chart a little more carefully. These charts are an amazing thing to work with, and let me show you how to read it. So basically you have it here, and you're going to notice that there's 2 loops. This is not a symbol overlapping each other. You basically see a half moon shape underneath. It's like an up, like a U, and basically that's telling you that when you go to join it, you want to join it with the front post itself. How do I know that? Because it's not showing over here. Well, do you see that this shape here? See how it's looping up like that? That's a front post single crochet. So that's telling you that when you go to join it, you're also wanting to do on the front post. You're going to be, notice we're going to do some chain work, and then it's going to progress from single, half, double, and trebles. And then see these here? These are front post single crochets going all the way around. So this is a really great opportunity. What happens on one side happens on the next, happens on the next, happens on the next, and you will get to use this pattern to be very effective for you. So without further ado, now let's get started. I'm gonna pull out my bubblegum color, and I really love this color here. It reminds me of Hubba Bubba. So let's begin to do that right now. So let's begin. I'm going to create a slip knot to start, and you may have a different way of starting your projects that you most prefer. And basically what we want to do is that we want to start off in the front post itself, and what we want to do is look at the top and then move ourselves down to the next layer here, and this is where we want to attach it. So just come in behind one side of the post and out the other, and just coming across. And what I want to do is I want to grab both strings. This is technically not correct, but I prefer this method myself because I'm just worried about it always falling out, and I just want to join it just like so. So we've actually joined it around the post, and I'm going to worry about this at the end, this straggler piece, and I want to chain 1. And simply what we have to do is then we have to then single crochet around that same post. Okay, so it's front post single crochet. So coming on the one side, popping it out the other, and just do that like so. So now what we have to do is that we have to progress ourselves to the end of this, to the corners. How do we get there from here? Well, obviously we need to chain. So we're gonna chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to start the progression stitches all in this gapping space right here. Do you see that? And so it's not anything to do with this yet, and what we want to do is that we want to get it bigger and we need to progress it. So we're going to start off with a single crochet, then we're going to do a half double crochet, then we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're going to do a treble. And remember, trebles we wrap twice, and like so. So you can see that we got bigger just like the pattern shows, and now what we want to do is chain 1, and then this is when the fun begins as we work around the corners. Now if you remember when we did the corners, there are 7 stitches that are all the way around. So we have the progression of stitches there as well. And so basically what we need to do then at this point is that we need to start off on the one side before you get to the stitches. So we're just gonna go into a gapping space, just like that chain 1 gap space I believe, and that's right, and it's a single crochet. This is where it gets a lot of fun. So we're going to do front post single crochet around the next 3. So if there's 7, what we want to do is front post single crochet around the first 3, skip the middle one, and then front post single crochet around the final 3. So let's begin to do that. So we're just gonna pop it out. Now the single crochet, there's not a lot of space there, so don't be worried about jamming in your hook and getting it in there. It looks fabulous if you get it right. So just like that. So we got 1, go to the next one. This one's a bigger stitch so it's easier. This is 2, and the next stitch for 3. So now we want to turn the corner, so we're just gonna go 1, 2, 3, so chain 3, skip that middle stitch and come around the other side. So skip the middle and just front post single crochet into the next 3. So 1, and it's gonna get tighter again as the stitches compress as they get smaller, and then the final one. And where is the next one? It's a single crochet right into the chain 1 gap space. Chain 1 space right there. Okay, so that's how you get around the corners, just like so. So you have started here, we moved out, got bigger, we zipped around the edge, and now we're going to continue into the center point of the next side. So to begin the next part, we want to chain 1, and then we're going to do a progression. So this one we went from smallest to largest. This time it's gonna go from largest to smallest. Okay, so we're gonna go treble, so just wrap twice into that gap space there, and then do a double, and then do a half double, and do a single, all within that same gapping space. So just like we started off down here, we need to get back down there for this one here. So what do you think we need to do? We need to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and what we're going to do is move down to the second layer. So 1, 2, right to the middle one, and we're going to front post single crochet around that post. Okay, so basically we're going to move all the way around using the same technique. So let's begin again. So we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go up to this space here before you see this, and we're going to start off with a single crochet. So we're gonna do a progression. So single crochet, we're going to do a half double, we're going to do a double, and we're going to do a treble. So wrap twice. Okay, chain 1, and let's go around the edge. Do you remember how to do that? I do already. So we're just gonna go into this chain 1 gap space into this round here for a single crochet. Then we are going to do the next 3 are front post single crochets. So just go in. Remember that first one is gonna be a little bit tight to get into that space. Don't worry about it, just do it. Go to the next one for 2, next one for 3. Do you remember how to turn the corner? Absolutely. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then skip that middle one here, and then front post single crochet around the next 3. So 1, okay, 2, and 3, and then we're going to, in this chain 1 space here, we want to single crochet like so, and then we're going to chain 1 and do a progression that goes from largest to smallest again. So we're gonna treble, we are going to double, and we're going to half. Now I'm abbreviating what I'm saying here, but hopefully many of you have been with me for years, so you know what exactly I'm up to. So chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come down to the second layer, so down in and front post single crochet. Please do what I've just shown you all the way around. You will see that it will come together really neat, and it will be dipping into the middle here and then running around the outside just like so. So please do that. When we come back, I'll finish this round up, and then we'll move on to the next round for this particular week number 3. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go all the way around and then you're gonna chain your 5 and then slip stitch it to the very beginning just like so. I would recommend that you do both of these clues at the same time if I were you, or you can just do them in progression as well. But make sure you take care of these loose ends as you go, because it's gonna be a pain in the end if you have to cut them all out. So I would recommend in this particular project you do that. So just cut this off and just weave in your ends, and let's get ready for the next part of week number 3. So in the pattern what we want to do is that you can see the dots here. These are the slip stitches, and you can see that there's a chain 1. I can read the written instructions too, but I love these patterns. So you notice then that there's 5 stitches right in the middle of each one as they go all the way around. So we're gonna then begin the first one and just do this, and it's a progression. So you got single, half, and double, and then half and single. So like so. So this is actually really the hardest part. Lots of chain work. You just gotta watch where you're putting in your work right here. Remember that chain 1 here when we were doing the progression before we got to the edge? This is where we're going to be playing when we do this big stuff in the end. So let's begin to do that right now, and I'm going to start off with a slip knot. It's the way I like to do it. If you have a better way, you're more than welcome to do so. So let's begin. We're going to pop this right into the middle of the blue area here, and yours may be a different color, but I'm gonna start right there, and so this is gonna fill in that hole. So we're just okay right here, and I attach both around into there to really secure it. I have this phobia of my Afghan falling apart, so it never does, but it's just one of my things. So we're going to start off and we're going to chain 1 first, and then we're going to do the progression. So the progression is single crochet, just like so, and then we're gonna do half, and then we're going to do double, which is the middle of this whole thing of the shell, and then we're going to do half, so we're gonna get smaller again, and single. Now in the instructions like you saw, I'm going to now chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now this is where I want to play with my work. So remember that we did the progression here, and we did a chain 1 space before starting around on the edge here. This chain 1 space is just dying for me to put it there, so we're gonna put in a single crochet, and then we're going to chain 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, and simply I just want to come out on the other side, look for the progression that's over here, okay, this chain 1 space here, and just single crochet. So what's gonna be happening with that? I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting. So we need to get back to this middle space over here. So remember we have to then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to play in the middle just like we started, but this time we're not joining. So we're just gonna do a single crochet, we're going to do a half double, we're going to do a double, so that's the middle of that shell, and then half, and then single, just like so. So now I'm going to show you one more corner, and then I'm gonna leave the rest for you, and you need to do all of your squares the same way from this point. So taking up from the middle, let's begin again. So we're gonna chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look for that progressive, so singles all the way to the treble. It's the chain 1 space right after it. And then remember what you gotta do, chain that whole thing. It's the whole big loop. Remember how many that is? It's 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and then single crochet into the next chain 1 space over here. So the progression's here, it's right in between. Okay, and now we have to make ourselves back to the center again, so it's chaining 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and let's do our shell right in the middle before I leave you off to do the rest of it. So it's single, it's half double, it's double, it's half double again. Okay, so we went single, half double, double, then half, and then single, and continue that same thing. So remember it's chaining 4, single crochet here, and then do your outside. So this is what it's gonna look like by the time you finish week number 3, and it's going to be amazing. Just you wait and see. When you get all the way back around, you just have to slip stitch to the beginning, just like so. So what we're going to do is just fasten off, weave in your ends once again, and then basically this is what it's going to look like at this point. So you have the next layers ready, and join me on week number 4. So by now you've completed 2 layers that are on top. Now the last layer, something is going to happen with that in the future, but just don't worry about it. Just stick with it. You're going to love what's going to happen. It's totally amazing. But what I need you to do is that I need you to do the same for all 20 squares. Again, if you are playing with your colors, just be strategic about it because we still have more to do and it's going to be an exciting process. So join me next week, next Tuesday, as we experience clue number 4 and being able to work on the crochet or the mystery crochet along. Till next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of yarnspirations.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Ready to continue your mystery? Today is clue number 4 for the mystery crochet along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Today is clue number 4 in a 10-week clue mystery that we're doing. Now this one here, we're going to be expanding and doing something, another layer on top of your granny square. And this one is really unusual, and I don't think I want to ruin the surprise yet. You'll have to see the video. Also, if you would like to have the written instructions as well as a diagram to follow, you can also see a link in the more information of this video to be able to follow. Also in this video, we're going to be making your granny squares a little bit bigger, and we're going to be doing 2 steps within this video. Welcome back to Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. I'm your host Mikey. This is a preview for week number 4, and this is what it's going to look like at this point. We're not going to be worrying about these loops at this time, but I do have some techniques that you need in order to really do this effectively, just like so. You need to keep those on the front side because I did half the video and I left them on the back, and it really ruined my project. So just be careful for that, and I'll be sharing a little bit more about that. So without further ado, let me show you the diagram and then tips to get started. So here we are in week number 3, and we're about to go to week number 4, and we need to add 2 more rounds to this existing round. You should know that we're not going to be touching anything with these big loops at this time. So week number 4, we're still leaving these out. We just got to always make sure that they're in front though, so don't ever do anything and that they're behind. So what we want to do now is that we want to look at the graph that we're providing to you, and then basically you can see that the instructions are going around and around. So we have 2 rounds going, and we're gonna be filling in the spots just like so. So we just have to look carefully to where everything is going, and it actually makes a lot of sense from that point. So this time here you see these red lines here. These are those loops on the outside corners. We're not touching those at this time. It says that it's a chain 20 loop, and we're just gonna leave those so that they're in front. So okay, so without further ado, let's get on with this, and I'll show you how to do the first round. And this is week number 4. So let's look a little more carefully at this diagram. You're going to notice that there's a curvature here. These periods represent slip stitching and or starting points, whatever you prefer on a diagram. Now you'll notice that it's got a curvature here, and it looks like there's 2. Well, one is representing how you're starting. You're going to do a fastening on with the back post, so that these ones here, and you can clearly see it here, this is a back post single crochet. So whenever we're in the center here, we're going to do a back post single crochet. Everything makes a little bit of a difference when it comes to your stitches all the way around, and basically what we're going to do here is that we're going to start establishing this and pulling everything together. You're noticing that it's going to go over top of other layers as well, and that's what we're going to be paying attention to the most. So without further ado, now let's get started, and we need to get your regular color. So we're going back to contrast A, your very first color that you started off with, and this, in my case, it's blue. In your case, could be anything else that you're working with. So let's begin. So to begin, what I want to do is just create a slip knot to start. You have other ways of starting, whatever you most prefer, but that's my preferred method, just like so. So we want to look at the diagram and where are things going, and we're simply just want to look back to the beginning point. You can choose any one of the sides to start if you wish. It doesn't really matter at this point, but you have to be consistent. So what you want to do is that you want to go right to the center, and you see this here, shell work. We want to go right to the middle one there, and we want to insert from the back of the side post and then pop it out through the back. just like this, and this is where we want to attach our yarn. So let's attach that there. So we're fastening it on, and I put both strands around when I go to do that just to lock it in. I have this phobia of my Afghan always falling apart, so this is just something that I prefer for myself. So what it says is to chain 1. So we're gonna chain 1, and we're going to do a back post, a single crochet into the same spot. So just coming in to the same, just pull things apart if you can't see it. It's no harm in doing that, and just come around, and you want to do a single crochet, but it's a back post. So now we're ready to begin going all the way around. Now this here, I'm going to use a darning needle to get rid of that at the end, so I'm gonna leave that to the back at this time. So let's move along this chart, and this chart is really easy to read. You just gotta really watch for where things are going. So what we want to do now is that we want to do 3 double crochets, and we want to look on the chart, and we're going to look for the very beginning here, okay, of this round here. This is the last round. We want to go to the round below and get that first single crochet there. So we're going to wrap, and we're going to go into a single crochet there. Okay, do you notice how the lines in the graph are over top? Like the double crochets that I'm doing right now are over top. That means that that was pushed in behind. So this whole strand right here is in behind. Okay, and we want to do 3 double crochets into that space or that stitch, and then we want to chain 1 just like so, and then we want to do a double crochet into, and we want to follow this up. So you follow it all the way up this time, and this time we want to get into the stitch right here, okay, according to the instructions. So we just want to get it like that. Okay, so you just got to look at that chart and really figure it out, and we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochet. The next thing we need to do is put this loop forward. Okay, so don't even worry about that loop at this time, just put it forward. It's out of your face and out of your way. So let's begin to do 3 double crochets, and what we want to look for is there's 4 stitches here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you want to go into the first one of the 4 for 3 double crochets. This round is gonna take a little bit getting used to if you're doing all 20. Just be aware of that, and just kind of, I would do each one of these rounds together. So I would do all 20 of this same round so that you get a hold of the pattern. And then what we want to do is that we want to double crochet. We want to skip 1 stitch, go to the second over, and double crochet there. And then we want to chain 1. And then this whole space over here, this whole chain 3 space, we are going to put in multiple things. So we're gonna put in a double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet, and follow that with also a chain 1. Okay, so you got all the way around there, and then we want to begin what we already have been doing over here, but we want to go across the other side. So I'm just gonna turn it, and we'll do a nice flat space. Again, move these loops forward, these big ones on the outside. So I've already done my chain 1 there in the last part of this, and now I want to move along. So we're gonna double crochet, and we're going to go second one in. So there's 4 stitches here, just like there was here. Okay, so we went on the first one here and the third one. So this time we're gonna go from this side. It's gonna be the third one as well for a double crochet. Just like that, and then we're gonna double crochet 3 times into the first one of the 3, or of the 4, sorry, the double crochet 3 times in the first one of the 4. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1, and we are going to double crochet right into this same stitch right here. You bet. That's great. And now we're going to continue along and chain 1, and we're gonna double crochet into the first one of these here. So we're gonna look at this whole group and then go into the first one and double crochet 3 times. And 3. Okay, and now we just have to do a back post single crochet into the middle one here, just like how we started. So you got 5 here, just go into the middle one, pop it out through the back in the middle post only. So just in through the back, pull through and do a single post our back post single crochet. And now we're ready to begin again from what we already know. So basically we started in the middle of this side, we're gonna carry on. So let's carry on and I'll show you how to do the remainder of this row. So let's just review what we're going to do. You may need to reverse yourself in this video because this technique or this round is actually not as easy to remember. So you have to probably reverse this video if you're using it. So you're gonna single or double crochet into 3 times into the first one over here. So go look at this round from the one below, just like there, and double crochet 3 times. And then we want to chain 1, and then what we want to do is that we need to double crochet into the next one. So right where this is coming back out, it's the same one right there. So we're gonna double crochet that space or that stitch. Let's move this forward. So if it's not forward yet, just get it out of your way. You want to chain 1 first, and then what we're going to do is that we're gonna pay attention here in this section as you go. So we're going to put 3 double crochets into the first one of the 4. Okay, so there's 4 stitches there. So 3 double crochets there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then you're going to put in a double crochet into the second one over. So just skip 1, go to the second, and then chain 1, and now we're ready for the edge. So remember how we did it? So we did single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and then finish it off with the chain 1 so you're ready for the next row. So all you have to just do is just reverse this whole last row that you just did in order to make this, and then basically it's going to be easy. So just continue to go around for the remainder of the 2, and I'll meet you back up in just a moment, and then we'll start the next round, which is really easy. So I've just kind of gone all the way around, and I'm kicking myself right now because see these loops? They're supposed to be on the front side. I should have put them on the front. I've trapped them, so now I gotta frog my work. Normally I would never leave this in a tutorial, but I'm going to frog my entire project, well, halfway through, because I forgot to put the loops in front. Makes a difference. So make sure that when you're doing it, don't leave your loops in behind. So I'm going back to where it starts so I can put it forward once again. And you know what? I'll get learning the pattern even better. So I'm just gonna put these forward and making sure I redo my work once again. So I've come all the way back around again this time, but this time I finally got all my loops, these big loops, to be on the front side of the project. It does make a difference. Shows to go that even the best of us can make mistakes. So I'm just gonna join it to the beginning single crochet that we had with it was a back post double crochet. I just want to begin and just join there, and now I'm ready for the next round, which is round number 9. Round number 9 is so simple. We just have to match everything that we kind of seen going on. The only difference is that the final corner that you have right here has 3 extra double or single crochets in there. So we're just gonna start off by chaining 1, and then we're gonna put 1 single crochet into the same one, and then we're just gonna follow along. So just single crochet, so there's 3 double crochets below, so we're just putting 1 into each. Now this is a chain space, so we're just gonna go around the chain space, and then the next one is a double crochet, just fill that in. The next one is a chain space, just fill it in with a single, and then just each one of these double crochets are just singles. This is a really easy round. Okay, so you're just looking for these chain spaces. So here's one here, and I can remember that from the pattern. We want to make sure we get our double crochet and then chain space, but look, the next one is the middle one of the 3, and we just want to make sure that we put in 3 single crochets into that same one so we can accurately turn, and then just turn our work and then just keep filling in. So this is a gap space, and then we're just going to fill this one in. See how easy that is? Going all the way around. So this is going to be a very easy round for all of your squares that you're doing, and when we meet back up I'll just have the final. We'll just fasten off, and then you can be off to do this, get your 20 done, and then you can join me next week then for the next part of the mystery crochet along. So I'm coming all the way back around. I'm just single crocheting into the last one here, and then I'm just going to join it to the beginning just like so. So I'm going to fasten off. I'm gonna weave in my ends nicely. We're gonna be dealing with these loops in the next week's clues, and this is how it's looking at this point, and just really quick and easy. So just do a good job of just weaving in your ends at this time, and then you can just join me next week as we continue our crochet mystery along. So there you have it. That was clue number 4. Not only have we now completed a lot of the layers, are you just amazed? Isn't it look amazing how everything is interwoven with each other? It is so cool. Also, your granny squares have gotten a little bit bigger, but we're still gonna go bigger yet. And join us next week as we experience clue number 5 for the mystery crochet along. Until then, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Who's ready for another mystery? Today I have clue number 5 of the mystery crochet along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. We have clue number 5 of a 10-week clue mystery of an Afghan that we've been putting together. If you've been following us throughout the weeks, you're gonna notice that things are looking pretty complicated, but you've been able to manage it so far. Today's clue, we are just doing one more round around your granny square, and these are all gonna still be separate from each other because in the next clues we're gonna start joining things together. So for this one, we just have to simply just look carefully on where the final revolution goes around the granny square. Of course, if you need the more information that is required for the written instructions or even a pattern diagram, that's also available, and you can look for the more information of this video in order to be able to find that. So let's get started right now. So here's a preview to week number 5. We're going to be adding a centerpiece just like so. I'm going to talk about the colors that you need to do, and basically it's just riding on top just like so you don't see it popping out through the bottom. We talked about that as well coming up. So today we're going to move to week number 5, and this is now week number 4 as you can see here, and we're going to be adding a center ring just in the center here. Really easy to follow. You're going to need contrast color C. So if you're not sure of your colors, right now the main color is A, and then we did the cross which is B, and then we did the pink which is C, and then the green here which is D. Your colors will obviously be different if you're not following exactly what I'm doing. So you just have to do the C color. In my case it's the bubblegum pink here, and then we're going to play right in the center. So let me show you the diagram. So here's the diagram here, and the things in red are what we're going to be doing. This is a really easy round, start and stop, and just bada boom bada bang. So they've highlighted this going out like so. This is just to indicate to you where you're going to be playing on the square. You are not doing this, you've already done it in the past. So today we're just going to be doing the red, and these are called clusters, and you will see the instructions and the written words what exactly those mean, but we're obviously going to be covering that here on the tutorial as well. So without further ado, let's begin. So to begin, I'm just going to create a slip knot to start. You can join it any way that you want. This is how I prefer to do it for myself. And what we want to do is that we're going to be playing into the 4 points of you see. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm just gonna start off here because it's just easier right here, and go behind the actual post itself. Okay, so go right in behind. So you just lift it up and go right behind there, and let's just move both of those straggler and the yarn, and let's attach it together. Like so. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the other straggler out, and I'll use a darning needle to hide those in afterward. And now I want to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what we're going to do is start off with our first cluster. Let me show you how to do that. For the clusters, they are trebles, so we want to make sure we wrap twice, but this time what we're not going to do is that we're not going to go around the front post. Okay, we are going to go right to the very beginning to the 5th crochet chain, and then we're just going to pull through, and then pull through 2 and 2 and hold. So do not finish that stitch. We want to get a total of 3 more of those on there. So we want to wrap and wrap, going into the exact same chain, and pull through 2 and 2 and hold. Okay, and we got to do that one more time. So just wrap and wrap into the same chain, and pull through 2 like this, and 2 and hold. So now you have 4 on your hook, which is what you need, and essentially what we're going to do is that we're just gonna pull through all 4 of those. But wait, we're not done yet. So now that we have everything together, we need to go to the next point. Okay, and you just go to the next one over, and we just want to slip stitch behind the post, so the front post, and just slip stitches. So we're just gonna grab the yarn and pull through and through, just like this. So now we want to restart what we already know. So we're gonna do this again. So we're gonna chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now we're going to do another cluster. So we're gonna wrap twice in 5th chain from the hook. Okay, and we're just gonna go in and pull through 2 and 2. Okay, wrap twice into again. So you want a total of what appears to be 4 posts going from your hook. So you have 3 now, and wrap and pull through 2 and 2. Now that you have your 4 on here, pull through everything, and then what we have to do is then go to the next point like so, just in behind. It's a front post, and just pull through and through. It's a slip stitch like this. So we're gonna do it again. So chain 5, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, wrap, go to the 5th chain. Just count it back if you want to, and just begin to do your clusters all over again. That's how you just do this whole simple step. It's really easy, and I'll meet you back at the beginning, and we'll just fasten off and then call this done for mystery clue number 5. So I'm just finishing the final one. I'm pulling through all 4 loops, and then I'm just going to slip stitch it to the very beginning of where we started, and I want to fasten on off my end at this point and just weave in my tail ends, and you will notice that this is completely done at this point. So really easy. Just want to use a darning needle, hide in my loose ends, and I'm good to go. So you'll notice that these will sit kind of over top of it just like so, and it'll probably sit flat like this, or you can open it. It depends on you. It's really kind of neat. So that's it for today. So that's it for clue number 5, and get all your 20 granny squares done, and just be mindful to be able to watch where those stitches are going, because it's gonna make a difference. And of course I'm gonna show you how to fake it or make it if you're off by 1 or 2 stitches when you're coming all the way around. But I really do want you to pay attention, because you may kick yourself if you're way too off. So until next week, stay tuned. Next week we have 2 sets of clues coming along, and it's going to be an exciting time to be part of the Crochet Mystery Along, or the Mystery Crochet Along, however you want to say it. It's happening right here on the Crochet Crowd, as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host, Mikey. Who's ready for a crochet mystery? I am. Today is clues number 6 and 7. We're going to do 2 clues today as part of the Mystery Crochet Along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as yarnspirations.com, as we continue our 10 clue mystery Crochet Along. And by now you will have known it's an Afghan. Today we are going to work on 2 clues, and we're going to give you 2 weeks in order to do it, because it may take you a bit of time, and we just want to make sure that we're not pushing you. I have to say though, I think most of you will probably finish it tonight or by the end of the night anyway. But we're going to give you an opportunity. In today's clues, number 6 is that we're going to complete 1 granny square on its own, and then we're going to complete the next one where it's attaching to its neighbor. I'm going to show you. You're going to see in this particular sample that the Afghan just doesn't attach to each other, but it's actually kind of hugging each other, and it's actually a really interesting concept. So stay tuned right now. You have clues number 6 and 7 coming at you right now. So if you're following along in this tutorial, you realize that you still have these outstanding, and now you have your outside, which is the color the main color, and it's now ready to be attached. In today's tutorial what we're going to be doing is doing a braided join, and so we're going to be joining the two together just like so. Let me show you what that looks like, because this is a technique I didn't ever do before this tutorial. So this is what it's gonna look like when it comes together. You can see that the braiding is just like so, but the braiding cannot be done really simply in the sense that you have to plan ahead when doing the braiding. So let me show you some techniques and get you started. In the next part of this tutorial I'm going to show you what you need to do in order to get prepared in order to do this process. In the next part of this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make 20 of these simple little balls. We need to make these balls ahead of time before doing the braiding. In the next part of this tutorial I'm going to take you up to my kitchen, and I'm going to show you an easy way to be able to make all 20 of these really quickly and give you some tips and pointers on what to do in order to make them. So in the next part of this tutorial I'm going to leave you with that, and then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to explain a little bit more on how to put these together. So I'm all about the speed. I'm all about making the tips really quick. So what I'd recommend to you is that we got to do the braiding effect for 20 squares. So prepare all of your 20 balls up at the front of the project so that you have it all to work with in your little kit, right? So what you're going to need today is that we have 4 colors that we've been working with this Afghan. It's A, B, C, and D. The A color is the color of the main square, so in this case it is blue. So we do not want to touch that color. So we only want to play with B, C, and D. So we have for you the instructions that you're going to need in order to put it together. But here, let me tell you. Contrast B, which is the second color that you used, is 6 balls that you're going to need. Contrast C and D are both 7 balls, which gives you a total of 20 balls. But here, let me show you on how easy it is to make these things, because if I can show you some quick tips, then you don't have to pull out the measuring tape every time. Now the braiding effect is something that I've never done before, so I actually kind of learned a little bit, and I thought to myself, if I'm a little off I'm gonna provide extra yarn in order to into the little mini balls. Do not do that. So just follow the instructions as it shows, and what it says is that you need to prepare the balls, and I'm gonna give you different metric and imperial numbers. So it can either be 8 yards, which is 24 feet, or it can be 7.5 meters if you're using the metric system. So that's all you're going to do. So what I decided to do for myself is that instead of doing the 24 feet on my particular sample that I've already practiced off, I did it 30 feet and I totally regretted it. So don't use extra yarn if you don't have to. It ends up being a waste, and you will find it will slow you down because of the way that we're putting it together. So what we're going to do for the first one is that we're going to pull out our trusty measuring tape. And what I want to do is that I want to measure 24 feet. So I'm just going to take the yarn and just begin to measure. So just do that. If you have like another kind of measuring device, even tiles on a floor you could use, and just I'll put it out and only measure 1. So that's tip number 1. So I'm just sliding the measuring tape out with the yarn in hand to 6 feet. There's 6. And what I'm going to do is that from the 6 feet I'm going to go and pull the yarn going back toward the front. Okay, and I'm going to lock my measuring tape in, and I'm just sliding this, but sliding the yarn from the yarn ball with the measuring tape. And so now I'm going to just slide it again along to another 6 feet. Okay, now I have 18 feet, and I'm going to slide it again down with the yarn ball, and this should take me to 24 feet. So if you don't have a lot of space to work with, no big deal. And so now I have 24 feet. See how awkward that is? So that's what I want to show you here. So I'm going to trim it off, and I'm just going to let the yarn from the yarn ball come back over here. And here is my quick tip. I'm going to roll this yarn back up into a ball next. The way that I'm going to make the ball is what's going to make it a lot easier for you. So I have a yarn ball winder, so I can either use that, or I can use a toilet roll, or anything else that is a standard roll. And what I want to do for if I'm using the yarn ball winder is that I want to put my yarn on, So I've loaded my ball winder and now I'm ready to go, and now I'm going to make it into a ball using the ball winder, but I'm going to use the ball winder to my advantage to be able to count the number of length that I need. So if this is the exact length that I've cut, all I need to do is just load it and count on how many it is. I'm gonna use a pen this time. This is actually my second take because I couldn't remember how many rotations I did. So every time it hits the down bottom, it's gonna count as 1 revolution. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And 12 takes me right to this point here. So I know when I got this off, and I'm gonna write 12 down this time, 12 revs, 12 revolutions. I know then when I take another ball from, or take another string now from an actual real yarn ball that I have not measured out in advance, I can do the same thing. So let me just load it up. And again, I'm looking for it to be down. Okay, same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so now I can just simply cut that, and now I have the length that I want that matches the other one. So the same rule can go. So for example, say I want to use a toilet roll, all I can just do is that I can measure the very first one that I have, and I can count the number of revolutions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So 43 takes me to the end, so I'm gonna write that down. So you could just use anything like this. Now my toilet roll might be a different size than what you have at home. So just measure out that first one, and here's a technique on how to be able to make all the balls really quickly. Once you have that done, just slide it off, and you can grab another color in order to put your project together and start another item. But I like the ball winder because every time you rotate it once, it rotates this 10 times. So just as a reminder, you're going to need the 20 balls then, and you're going to need contrast B for 6 balls, C and D for 7 each, and it works out to be really quite cool. So I'll leave that to you, and when we come back I'm going to start doing the process. The braiding is something that is really unique, and I've never learned how to do that before until this tutorial, and it has been totally amazing, and my hair is driving me crazy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that you have all of your 20 balls done, now it's time to begin the joining process, and here's the diagram provided by Yarnspirations. Now there is a technique on putting this together, and basically the first one we're just going to go all the way around. So the first part of this tutorial on me demonstrating, I'm going to show you how to go one all the way around that will not be joining to a neighbor, and then the next part we're going to be joining. Now here's the thing. Do you notice that we're starting up here, and basically you can see your neighbors being attached here? You can never ever start a square here or here or here. You always have to start on a corner that is not affected by a neighbor. So basically what's going to happen is that when you go to put this together, you're going to start off with your first box, and then you're going to add your next ones. Now the first ones are really easy because you're only going to be attaching at 2 points, or at 1 point each. So these two are going to attach when you come all the way around. So you're going to go up just like so, and then you're going to come and do the next part. Notice that every time you do that, that square right here, this corner, is going to be clear, just like it shows in the diagram right up here. So my point being is that when I started doing this off camera for practice, I did a really silly move where I decided I'm not going to follow the rules because it doesn't say not to do that in the instructions. But what I did is I did like this U shape, and what this caused me to do is that if I were to do like this and then I have to fill in this square, there is no free corner just like here in order to do it. Therefore I cannot finish the square right in the middle. So you have to make sure that whenever you're doing this, you're always going to have a corner that is free in order for you to do it properly for when you're going to do the braiding effect. The reason for that is that, see this braiding here? It's already taking effect here. So basically you're going to start and just like you see here, there's no way to begin to really make that a nice smooth transition, and in fact it will not work out for you. Trust me, I know. So I'm going to go a little bit more through this diagram first before I take you to the first part of this tutorial. So here's some key concepts. We're going to be joining in the top corner like I've already said, and when we go to join, we're going to be taking that big loop just like we see, and we're going to be making sure that it's attached just like you see here. So it's going to be attached as we do the slip stitch, and then we're going to do the corner. Now I put in here, remember upstairs when I was showing you, I wrapped the toilet roll 43 times and then I did the 1 or 12 revolutions. This may change for you, so don't rely on that information. This was just my own notes when I was writing it upstairs. The biggest factor that you need to watch for is these loops here. And there is 10 of these between each one of the corners. So the corner is not included in this 10. So the key concept when you're doing this, as you're going all the way across, you should be able to count 10 of these spaces just like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I remember on Facebook some people claim that they didn't have the right stitch counts at the end of this. If you're off by one, or on one side or the other, as long as you end up with 10 of these gapping spaces just like so, it'll always work out for you. So if you have to flub it, this is where you're going to do it, because you have to make sure you have your 10 so you can effectively attach to your neighbor all 10 times plus doing the corners of each. And so as long as you're following that, I'm going to show you as we go all the way around just in case you need to flub it. So the key concept is looking for the 10 and making sure, because the border that is really terrific on this particular project really relies on this to be 10. If it's not 10, you are going to be in some serious trouble. So make sure that there's 10 in between each one of the corners. In the pattern you're going to follow a diagram, and these diagrams have it all laid out so that you never have a braid that attaches together and it happens to be the same color. The braid will totally lose its effect is if you had yellow on, or sorry, green on one side and green on the other. You won't get that nice cool effect. So the layout shows you where the squares need to go. So the layout is done in shades as well as colors. So this is contrast D, and when I go to do it, I want to make sure that it's going to join to a neighbor that has contrast B. Now D is the final of this. So in my particular example, this is D. And so I want to make sure when I go to attach it, I'm going to attach it to a B. And then when I go to attach the next one, B is going to attach to a C. So it's the existing last color of the braid, that's what it's referring to. And if you follow this diagram, you notice that it's a chevron. So if you follow this, you will never have two colors that will sit side by side, so that you won't lose the braiding effect, just like so. So let's begin to do the very first square that is not attaching to any neighbor, and it's really easy. So we're just going to start off with the slip knot, and that's how I prefer to do it. What we're going to do is look for the very corner, and you can see that these three are the corner, and look into that middle one. There is 3 single crochets there. You are going to go for the middle one, but before you go in there, you need to go underneath this loop to grab that loop and then insert into the middle single crochet, and then just grab both strings and pull it around to join. And then what I just do is that I just use both strings, just chain up 1 because you can hide it, and then I just want to single crochet back into that stitch. Okay, so I've just joined it, and I'm just going to trim that off afterward. So we have to do the corner first, and so the corner always has chaining of 3. 1, 2, and 3, and we go back into the same stitch. If you look at the diagram, that makes total sense. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to work across the side. So the side is just really simple. Here we go. Every time we're going to make this gapping space, we want to make sure that we chain 3 first. So 1, 2, and 3, and then back down here we want to skip 2 of the single crochets. 1 and 2, go to the third. And so you want to then chain 3 again. So 1, 2, and 3, and then going back in to the third one over, so you're skipping 2. By the way, I am using a mini ball for this. You are going to want to use a mini ball. Okay, so you're going to chain 3, or chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then skipping 2, go to the third. So 1, 2, 3, skipping 2, and go into the third. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, skipping 2, go to the third. So remember how I said we're looking for that magic number of 10. So 1, 2, and 3, skipping 2, and 1, 2, and 3. And just for record's sake, I have no idea if I'm gonna end up with the right stitch count, which is even perfect because if I have to flub it, I can do it live on camera. So 1, 2, and 3, skipping 2, and I'm making myself get all the way close to the other side. So 1, 2, and 3, and then coming in. And here's what I want to do. So I'm skipping 2. Now the next one is going to be going to the corner, but I want to count first. So starting back here, do not count the corner. We go, there's 1 gap, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, wait a minute, there's only 9 and I got a corner left. Don't forget, you still have to chain 3 before you even do that corner. So that is your 10th. So now we have our 3 and we're gonna go right into the corner. Now here's what the thing is. If you're missing 1 stitch or if you have 1 extra, don't worry about it. Just literally look for the middle and go for the single crochet right in the middle. If you have to flub it, this is where you're going to do it. Okay, so it doesn't look so obvious. But before you can go into that corner, see this loop down here? You have to make sure that you go under it first and then do your single crochet using it. Just like so. So you want to grab that, then chain your 3 and then going into the same stitch to form your corner. So you got to make sure you grab these loops up before you begin your project. Now you'll notice that these loops are just kind of just sitting inside so you can pull them. So when you're on your afghan is sitting down, as your afghan be able to find its own tension, you will notice that these will adjust. So let's begin another side. So we go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then just simply skip over 2. Pull things out of the way if it's in your way to be able to see it. So 1, 2, go to the 3rd. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, skip 2. So we only want to grab that chain there on the corner. So 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to do one more corner with you and then I'll leave that with you. So 1, 2, and 3. So the first one is no sweat. Big deal, right? And then here we go. So I'm going to the 3rd one over. Okay, and then 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Going to the 3rd one over. And then 1, 2, and 3. 3rd one over. 1, 2, and 3. And now this is where I want to count because I see I'm getting really close to the edge. So coming back here, I don't count the corner and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's fine because the 10th one still needs to be done. So 1, 2, and 3, and before I insert it into the corner, and basically you can see that I have 3 stitches here instead of 2. So this is, I'm just still gonna put it into the center one here. So if this happens to you, you can do that. So somewhere along the line I kinda goofed up, but I want to leave this tip in for you just in case. So go underneath this chain and then go into the corner and single crochet around it, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then coming back in. So completely go all the way around. I've already shown you how to do it, and then you're going to fasten this one off, and this one is going to stand alone and be your very first one that you start with when you go to put things together. So please do that and I'll meet you back up as we fasten off. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I certainly want to make sure I got my 10 in here. There's only 9 right now because I still have to chain 3 in order to attach it to the beginning of where I started up the single crochet. So that's how I would do that if it was just all the way around, and this is the first square. This is the only square that you're going to do like this without attaching to a neighbor. Okay, in this part of the tutorial what I have here is that I have 2 done, and I'm going to go in one direction here. This one here is not here at this time, and so basically it's only to be attaching on one side. So I want to really show you what happens in the center here, and in the next part of this we're then going to do this one here where we have 2 sides that are joining, and we're going to be doing the braiding effect, and that's going to be happening next. So just as a recap, we're going to be starting off in the corner just like so. Remember that we can never ever start when we're actually already in the attaching mode. We always have to make sure that this one and this one are clear so that they are not ever attaching at the same time. So you will notice here that we want to make sure that it's free and clear on the corner. So when I go to do this one here, if I'm looking at it, I have these two that are attached, and so when I go to start this one here, I want to make sure that I'm starting in the upper corner over here so that I can do this side here and then come down and do the attachment and then come all the way back around on the other side. So let's begin to do that next. We also have to pay attention to the colors to make sure that the two braiding colors are never the same. So I'm going to be using a coral color, so making sure that this does not match, and again you can follow the diagram on how they come together. So let's begin on the upper corner, and we're going to create a slip knot just like so, and we are using another little mini ball here, and the mini balls are just you have to work with the mini ball at this point, so absolutely must. If you don't do it, you're not gonna be able to do this step. So we're going to join in the corner just like we did before. This time though, we're going to be coming across as normal, and it's the other side we're going to do the braiding, but we still need to use these mini balls. So again, just like before, go up underneath this big loop here and then go into the corner and then just join it. Okay, and then I'm gonna use both and just pull through one for chain one, and then single crochet back into the same one, and then chain three, 1, 2 and 3, and then back into the same stitch. So that is your official new corner. So now we're gonna come across the side just like we did in the last part of this tutorial. Just like before, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then simply just pull back the stitch this line here so you can see it. We're gonna skip 2, go to the third, just like so, and then chain 3 and then skip 2 and go to the third, chain 3, skip 2, go to the third, and you're gonna do this all the way across. Except for the final corner, that's when the game plan is going to change and we're going to start the braiding. The braiding is a new technique. I never learned it before this tutorial series. I don't even know if I've seen it done before. I could have, I just never paid attention. So 1, 2 and 3, but it's a technique I'm definitely gonna use in the future, and it's a great idea to learn it now. So 1, 2, 3, again skipping 2, going to the third, 1, 2, 3. So the braiding technique can never be done from the balls itself, like the big balls. Always has to be done from mini balls, and you'll see why in just a moment. So I want to verify my count first, so I don't include the corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this last one, chaining 3, is going to count as 10. But before I go into the corner, like before, I want to move this up and come up underneath it and then go into the corner, and this is where the game plan is going to change. So we're going to attach during this whole level here. We want to get our next square available to us, and our ball is ready to go like this. It's the mini ball. So we're going to chain 3 first. So 1, 2 and 3, and this is where the plan changes. We're just going to pinch this loop and pull out your hook. You want to come to your next square that's on the other side, and you want to come right into a corner. Okay, it's the same corner that you see over here. So you see that these are attached, and you want to insert down. So this is the front side of your project that you can see with the butting coming up at the middle, coming straight down into the corner gap space. Grab this loop here and pull it through. Okay, but you're not done. So what you want to do is just pull up enough so you can see this knotting area, like where the stitch is coming up. So pull it tight again. Just pull it up like this, and you can see this string. Now because these are mini balls, you have to pull this entire string through each and every time, and this is pulling through the remainder of that ball. Now here's the advantage to this, is that yeah, it's a pain in the butt right now, but as you crochet more, this ball will get smaller and smaller in size. So on a regular table I can do this really quickly, and on my studio here not so much. So I pulled the whole thing through, and then what I want to do is come back down into the same corner on the first one and then single crochet, again going around this chain. So here's the thing, you want to continue to go across this one here, and remember it's chaining a 3, 1, 2, 3, pinch this, and then come into the next space on the other side. Okay, it's the next one that's moving down on the other one. Come straight down, pull the loop up like so, and then just pull it nice back tight to there, and then pull this ball again through. And I want to keep this ball relatively organized so it doesn't tangle on itself. I've never had that problem. Again, it's my studio table. It's not necessarily the best place to always to film. So we're gonna then, once you have it through, is that you're just skipping 2 on this and then coming to the third. And so this, what this is doing, it's actually wrapping around each other instead of actually tying to each other. So they're basically just floating within each other. So let's do another one. So 1, 2 and 3, again pinch, take out, come to the next gapping space that's available to you on the other side. Okay, pull up, pull it back tight to the hook, and then pull it through. So again, every time you pull through like this, this is gonna be less and less because you've been doing more and more chains. So it gets faster and faster as you do it. So then once I have it through, I skip 2, single crochet in, and then again chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Again come to the other side, straight down, pull through, and again pull this through. Does that make sense? So I had a hard time deciphering these instructions when I first looked at this because I didn't understand that these mini balls were like that. So it's something that I kind of learned. So 1, 2 and 3, again drop, and then coming to the next, down. And it's an amazing look. So if you ever wanted to do this with other kinds of granny squares, all you just have to do is just basically just figure out how much yarn you're gonna need. So I would do one all the way around first, and then probably pull it apart, figure out the length that you need, add an extra bit for buffer, and then you can basically make mini balls and do this with any other kinds of squares that you want. So 1, 2 and 3. Again, next one. So what I want you to do is I want you to go all the way down this one, and I'll meet you up at the corner, and it's the same technique, and you'll see that it's gonna get faster and faster. And then basically, because we're only attaching it on one side, once you get beyond this side, you don't have to worry about pulling things through anymore. 1, 2 and 3, and it then becomes a lot faster as you're going all the way around as well. So it's only when you have two sides that are attaching together that it will slow you down a little bit, but not enough to really worry about it at the end. So now coming up to the end of the line, you can see that the braiding effect is really taking effect, and this string going to that mini yarn ball is getting smaller and smaller. Remember that when we get to the corner, you still have to go up underneath this chain first. It's a single crochet, just like so. So it holds it in position, and then 1, 2 and 3, and this is the very corner. So then you go into the very corner of the other side, straight down, and then pick up. So this is the attaching of only two sides together. So this means that the remaining of this particular square, I no longer have to pull anything through. So this is the very last time you'll have to do it, and you just use the remainder of the string to continue to go all the way around. So once you have that pulled through, just single crochet into the same stitch because it is a corner, and then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and just again skip 2 and then go all the way down, 1, 2 and 3, and continue that way. So I'll meet you back up, and you're just gonna go all the way down and then back around the base here, and you're going to join it to where you started, and then you can see at this point you can see the two are joining just like so, and it has a really cool effect. So I'll meet you back up as we go, and I'll make sure that we fasten off, and then the next time we're gonna fill in this square right in the space right here where we're going to attach on two sides instead of just one. So I'm coming up all the way around. Do not forget to verify that you have your 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and then I have the corner, and then again on my far side here I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then of course we have to chain 3, and then we're going to attach to the beginning single crochet that we started with. Now here's the thing. I'm going to attach it now, and you're going to want to weave in your ends and hide them really nicely. Watch this. This is how much yarn I have left over. Not a lot. So you wanna make sure that when we did our balls, we wanna make sure that we have enough yarn to be able to finish it off, but you don't wanna be pulling through another whole skein of yarn. So you wanna be very conscientious that the little balls that you used are going to not be too long that you have to pull way too much through. So I'm gonna weave off, and next time we come back I'm going to start you off, and then we're going to do this section here where we're going to attach to the two. So I'm back again, and we're going to attach to two sides now at one time, but I really want you to look here. Here is there's a secret. You will notice that each one of these will have attached to the same one. So no matter what's happening, you see that this square would have attached to this one, this square would have attached to this one, and this square would have attached to this one. So on the corners they will all come to the same stitch that's available to you. So you can see here, and it just happens naturally, is that the pink went into this green here, this coral went into this green. So when I go to do this one here, because it's in the middle, I'm going to also attach it to the green so that it's all the same. Okay, so that is just an easy way of doing the middles. So that's what we want to pay attention to the most. And then I'm going to start you off. Remember, we have to start in an upper corner that is not attaching to anything, and then we're going to come around and then finish it off just like so. So let's get another color. In this case it's going to be green for me. So I'm going to start off with the green, and I want to get my next square up and ready for you, and then essentially here it is. Okay, so it looks the same, but this time we're going to attach it with the green. So you can notice that when I go to attach the green, there's no green here or here. So I want to be very strategic that I don't ever choose a coral or a pink in this case, so that I don't lose the braiding effect that you get just like you see here, because that's what's really cool about this afghan. So I have my little mini ball ready to go, and when we start off we're not gonna worry about pulling anything through, because we're gonna be starting on a corner that has nothing there, so it doesn't attach to a neighbor. So let's begin, and simply again coming up underneath this big loop first, look for the middle single crochet in the corner, and that's where you're going to attach it. So just attach just like so, and I'm using both strands to attach. It seems like it's a more secure joint in my opinion, but again if you have a better way then you're welcome to do so. And then I just grab both, and then I just use the chain one, and then I single crochet back into that same stitch to finalize, and I'm gonna trim that off afterward. So we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3 to do our first corner, coming back into the same one. So there is our first corner. So I want to pull things out of the way again. Just move this down with your hands, and then just go 1, 2, and 3, and then skip 2 and go to the third one. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, skip 2, go to the third. 1, 2, and 3, skip 2, go to the third. So 1, 2, and 3. So this is very easy. Now the advantage to doing this, see, you're using up some of this yarn that's coming through this little ball, so that means that there's less yarn to pull through. So I guess what I was trying to say, I'm just doing 3, I'll talk my way through this, is that I thought to myself, if I just do up 3 sides first, and then I wait for the last side in order to pull it through. That was why I was meaning that you cannot fill in one, that these 2 sides have to be empty, because it doesn't work out when you go to attach it. So I was trying to cheat the system a little bit and figuring out how to do it so that there's less yarn to pull through, but you have to leave the 2 sides empty in order to make it work. So so we try, right? You always got to figure out if there's ways to cheat the system and figure out how to work it. In this case, no go. So I'm just chaining 3 and just skipping over to the third. 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, and 3, skipping to the third. And I want to do a count because I'm pretty close. So again I'm looking for the gap spaces, not including that corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this will be the 10th. So 1, 2, and 3, and before I go in there, pull this loop up, go up underneath it, and then go in to do a single crochet. So now we're going to start attaching to the neighbor, and we're not going to attach where these two meet. We want to attach it on here. Okay, this outside here. So let's begin to do that. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3, pinch it, grab the other one right in the corner itself, go straight down. It's the gapping space, chain 3 space, and pull up. So you already know how to do this. So this time, even though it's a pretty little ball right now, you're going to totally unwind this ball and pull it through there. And then that'll be a yarn just sitting to the side that you'll continually pull through. Again, I find a kitchen table is better for this because you can pull the string out of the way and it's completely out of the way. Studio table here is a little confined. So I got that through, and again I want to go back into the same one because it is a corner. Single crochet. Okay, so now I can see that the two are now joined as a braid. So 1, 2 and 3. Again, drop it, come to the next gapping space on the other side, come straight down, pull up, and then pull this through again. So do this side. I've already shown you how to do this. So do this side and I'll meet you at the corner over here where I'll show you what to do just in case that you're confused at this point. So I'm coming up all the way down and I have the one side now attached just like you see here, and so now I'm in the corner here. So remember what I said in the diagram is that everything will attach to the same one. So in this case that I have here is that everything is being attached to this upper square. That just happens to be my example. So I'm going to pinch and I'm going to do the corner first. So I'm just gonna come into the corner, but remember I have to pull this one up first. Okay, so get in under that chain of 20 first, and then single crochet, and then 1, 2 and 3, and this time go into the one where they're all going into. In this case it's this one, coming straight down and then pull up. So that's the only trick. Now I will tell you, and I'm gonna tell you at the end of this tutorial, this is the hardest part of this entire tutorial. Once we get beyond today and beyond these set of clues, this all gets much easier. And so if you have gotten your way all the way to this point, you should know that the remainder of the clues are just easy breezy in order to follow through. So once you have that in, make sure that you come back into the same one, the same stitch, okay, to finish that corner, and then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then just work down the next one that's available to you. Okay, so it's the next gap. So don't go in the corner of this one because you've already went into this one. So just working your way all the way down. I've already shown you how to do this, so it's just again just following the procedures all the way down, and I'm going to leave the rest of this for you. I need to finish this off camera so that I can be ready to do the borders. When it comes to this, the border on this particular afghan is phenomenal. Like, it is absolutely phenomenal. It's, if you think what you're seeing is already cool, wait till you see the border that is planned for this. It's incredible. So 1, 2 and 3, and again gap the other side. So this next one, and do this all the way around. When we come back I'll finish off, and then this is your set of clues, and you have 2 weeks to do this because this takes a little bit more time, and we're gonna let people catch up and let people take their time in order to do the assembly process as you see it. So I've worked my way all the way down. So I've attached here now, and I've attached here, and now this is the final edge before I come back to the very beginning, and the final edge again is just like before. There's nothing to do. So 1, 2 and 3, and just again skipping over 2 and going to the third. So it's only ever gonna be 2 sides that you're ever gonna be able to fight with when you do it. It's actually really easy, and again I promise you that this is the hardest part of this entire tutorial. The rest of it is all downhill. You will notice that the entire border of this particular project will be absolutely phenomenal. I can guarantee that, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry about that, but in my opinion it's one of the best borders I've ever seen. So 1, 2 and 3, and with this particular design it is absolutely stellar. So 1, 2 and 3, so just work yourself all the way down. Remember, don't forget, you still need to get that final 10 gapping spaces because the border that you're going to do for this absolutely matters for that. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your counts accurate. So 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and basically I just want to count and verify. So remember, I don't count this one that's right on the edge, like that's the corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2 and 3, and then coming into the very beginning single crochet that we started with and fasten off at this point. So that would be how you do it. And again, I'm going to pull, watch, there's not a lot of yarn ball left, and I'd rather have a little bit extra like this than a whole yarn skein to pull through, and I have actually done it to the point where I didn't have enough as well. So you want to make sure that you have a good count at that point. So please fasten that off and just begin to attach your entire afghan together, and at the end of it, don't forget to post your photos on Facebook. We do want to see just how it's done. The braiding effect is so amazing with this that when you see it from a distance, you are going to flip out. It's actually that amazing and worth the time. So that's it for clues number 6 and 7. I'm going to give you 2 weeks in order for you to complete off this element. By the end of 2 weeks, all of your granny squares should be put together. I have to tell you, the border that goes around this afghan is incredible. Incredible is not even a good enough word. It totally makes this afghan as one of the best borders I've ever seen. Until then, I'm Mikey on behalf of yarnspirations.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Did you miss me? It's been 2 weeks. This is clue number 8 of the Mystery Crochet Along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Today we're experiencing clue number 8 of our mystery afghan that we're working. You're starting to see this afghan together. I'm sure that you've seen photographs of other people completing this on Facebook. If you're still late to the party, you can get involved at any time. You still have a month after we finish off this crochet along in order to submit a final photo in order to get into the free gifts that we have lined up for one lucky person. Now today is clue number 8 and we have 2 rounds that we'd like to complete on the entire border itself. These borders, when you look at them, are no-brainers. Absolutely no-brainers. I have to say, most of you will probably be done by the end of the night as well, and you can really start to see this coming together. But this border is just the start of something really exquisite. So without further ado, let's get started on clue number 8. So here's a preview on what it's going to look like at the end of this tutorial today. We're going to do 2 rounds just like so. You can see there's beautiful just single crochet just like so, and then there is crisscross treble crochet just like this, and it is really simple, very easy, and we are using colors A and B today. B is started with so that you'll have it so it's consistent all the way around regardless on the joining braid that you started with, and it looks really amazing at this point. So this is what it looks like, and so let's carry on with this tutorial today. Currently this is what you have, and we now have to then do a border around your entire afghan. Now last 2 weeks we have been actually putting everything together just like so. So you'll have a braided join where everything is coming together, and then it's more the outside. Remember that I told you to concentrate to make sure that you have your 10 gapping spaces, because that's going to make a difference in this particular round. Today's tutorial we're going to be doing 2 rounds of the mystery, and let's get started right now and let's determine our colors first. So here's our mystery. We're going to be starting off in the one corner. You can start on any corner. Remember, your entire afghan will have been put together by this point, so you can just any corner that you wish, as long as you're just following it along. But look at this. You'll notice that there's single crochets into each one of these gapping spaces. That's how easy it is. And then the only game changer is right where they're joining together. You're just going to put 2 and 2 only. And so you just have to worry about that. And then when we come around, we're going to do a crisscrossing effect with another yarn. So we're going to be starting off today's color. We're going to be starting off with color A. Why are we starting off with color A? Well, it seems like it makes sense. We've used all the other colors to do all the joining and the braid work. So we're going to do color A so that it gives us a nice contrast difference, and then we're going to move on to color B. And let's get started right now. So let's begin. I'm going to do a slip knot to do my join, and again, if you have another way, you're more than welcome to do so. So we're going to go right into the very corner of your afghan, and all of the squares will be put together. So just going right into a corner, and let's just do a join. So just insert, grab these 2 strands, pull them over, and then just pull through to fasten on. So let's begin. We're going to do our first one, and I'm just going to let that straggler down fall, the loose end, and or the end of the yarn, and I'm just going to chain 1 first, and then I'm going to do 5 single crochets into the same gapping space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So every time you're on a corner of this particular afghan, now going all the way around, you're gonna want to put 5 in here. So like I already showed you, each one of these gapping spaces are going to get 3 double crochets each. So 1, 2, and 3. So then we just immediately jump to the next one. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we jump to the next one. 1, 2, and 3. And do you see what's happening here? See, these are like peekaboo colors now, just like you see right here. So it makes it a really interesting look. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just gonna keep on going until I get to where the next squares join in. And whenever we're gonna run into the next squares, we're just going to do the same thing all the time. So I'm only gonna show it to you once. Okay, so just 1, 2, 3. The border going forward is the easiest thing ever. You just got a matter of just doing it. So it's all a downhill slide from here. Everything gets simpler. The braiding is the hardest thing, I think, on this whole entire project. Okay, and so right now the next one I'm about to run into is the one with the join. So basically one side, you can see the join here, you see the join on the other side. Each one is only gonna get 2 single crochets each. 1 and 2. The other one is 1 and 2. And then we just start off in your next gapping spaces again 3, and you do that all the way until you do it to the corner. So if you have another join in the middle, just do the same thing that I just showed you. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to fast forward, get you to the corner, show you again how to turn the corner, and then I'm gonna let you do the rest of this round, and then I'm gonna show you the next one. So I'm coming up to the next corner of the afghan, and remember the gapping space before, just as normal, 3 single crochets, and then once you're in the corner it's going to be 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then just immediately start into the next gap space for 3. 1, 2, and 3, and go all the way around your afghan using the principles I just taught you, and then when we come back we're gonna change colors. We're gonna finish off change colors, and then we'll get you started on the next one. When you get all the way back around, the last gapping space is going to have 3 single crochets as normal, and then we're just going to slip stitch it to the beginning and where we started. And then we're just going to fasten this off. So now we've gone all the way around with your color A, and now we're going to go around with color B. So let's fasten this off. Let's hide in our ends, and then let's start on color B next. So let's begin with color B, and we're going to do a crisscross treble just like you see here in the instructions. You will notice, look where we're starting. So we're not actually starting on any of the corners. We're starting on the first one in on the first gap. So you see that there's a slip stitch here. This is your join. Then we're going to chain up 4, and then we're going to then do our crisscross coming into the one right before it, and then just continue along. So we're actually gonna turn this corner completely and then slip stitch it to the top of the chain 4 when we come all the way around. So let's grab our color B and let's get started. And this is a really simple stitch, so I'm just gonna create a slip knot to join. Again, that's my own preference. And so we're just gonna look at it here. You can see that these 5 are part of the corner, so I told you that we're not starting there. We're starting into the first one of the gap. So it'll be the first one right here, and let's just go and just attach this yarn. And then I'm going to let the straggler fall out of place so that I can hide that later, and I'm going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and simply I'm just going to do a crisscross treble, and this is how to do it. To do the crisscross treble, all you're just gonna do is come into the stitch right before it. So just gonna wrap twice, and then I just want to lean it forward and come into the stitch like this. I don't want to come into the front side. I want to come into it from the back. Okay, so just move things forward and then just pull it through, then pull through 2 and 2 and 2, just like so. So let's try this again. So we essentially just go to the next stitch, and then we skip that one and go to the second over. We wrap twice for the treble, and then just treble as normal. And then the next one we wrap twice, and then we go back to the stitch that we skipped. And again we lean it forward and grab that stitch like that. Okay? And we're gonna do this all the way across. So we wrap twice, we skip the first one, go to the second, and do the treble as normal. and then wrap twice and go back to the one, just leaning everything forward just like so, and then getting that stitch like so. This is a really clever stitch. It looks really great once it's all done. You just have to put some faith in it, and it's really quite awesome. So skip the first one, go to the second. That's all you have to do. So I'm gonna go all the way across to the first corner. You skip right over the middle section. Just do everything as if that's not even there, because you don't need to worry about it anymore, and we're just gonna be playing from corner to corner to corner at this point for the remainder of this afghan. So I'll meet you at the first corner and I'll show you what to do. So I'm coming up to all the way to the corner, and I've already done one of the 5. There's actually 5 space 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first one is already in there. So what I want to do is that I want to make sure that I'm looking for this middle one here, and I'm going to do my cross treble as always, and then I'm going to do the one that I skipped, and then I'm officially right on the corner itself. So this first one is right in the middle of the 5. To turn the corner accurately, all I just need to do is chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and then I simply come back into the same one that, or sorry, I want to cross over 1. So I'm going to skip this first one, and I'm going to go to the second. So the first one is already occupied. Okay, so I'm going into the second one. So we're just going to go into this one as a treble. And so then the one that I need to treble back into is already taken right here. So I want to go into that same one. So just move things behind. So that one in the corner has actually 2 trebles in it. One for this side of the corner and one for the other. So if I pull everything back, you can see it just like that. So then I just simply just start down this same edge, and again skip 1, and then just treble as normal, and then just come back and then do the other one. So it's just look at that diagram. If you're confused, you just got to make sure that everything is in balance at this point, and that you're using these 2 trebles will be into one of the stitches, and it's actually right in the middle one of the 5. So continue to crisscross treble all the way around this. Use the same knowledge that you just learned for doing the corners, and when we come back we'll fasten off, and that'll be done for today's set of clues. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I'm handling the corner just like I was before. I am just doing my crisscross so far. Okay, so the next one is my corner, and again there is the 5. I want to come into the next one, so I'm got to go do my crisscross as normal. So I've already skipped over 1, and then I come back and do the other one. Okay, so once you have that done, then you chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then coming back in, you see the one that you've last gone into, and there's an empty one here. You go to the next empty, and then crisscross by going to the one that's already filled, which is the same corner one, just like so. And then that concludes off going all the way around. And so what we want to do is that we want to join it to the top of the chain 4 that we started with, just with a like that, and I'm just gonna fasten off and weave in my ends, and basically I've completed an entire 2 rounds with this particular clue. So this is it for today, and join me next week as we go further into the border. So there you have it. You just have to finish 2 rounds of what I've indicated, and then you can wait and join us back next week as we have clue number 9 for the mystery crochet along. Until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. So who's ready to get this afghan finally done? This is clue number 9 out of 10 clues for the mystery crochet along. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. This is clue number 9 of a 10-week clue mystery along. By now you know it's an afghan. You're starting to see it come together, but the part of the amazing border is about to happen here in clue number 9 of 10. This border is going to start materializing before your very eyes, and you're going to probably be able to get this done pretty quickly as well. So without further ado, let's give you the next 2 rounds of your border in order to complete off your mystery crochet along. This is week number 9, and week number 9, here's a preview to it, and basically what we're going to be doing is 2 revolutions. You will see that there's a peekaboo blue here. We're going to be using colors A and C today. A is the main color just like so, and C is the third color that you used. In my case it was the pink. So you get to substitute your colors today. Now you should know that this revolution here, the 5 double crocheted together, is a little bit time consuming, but it's really well worth the effort. You have to maintain as well the pattern in order to make it puff out. You will notice that it's very 3-dimensional, so on the back side you don't see really any of the puffs, but on the front side you sure do. So let's begin to examine this further. So here's our diagram as always, and we're gonna be starting off in one of the corners, so you can pick any main corner. You can see that the other parts are all together already, and so we're just gonna pick any main color and then or any main corner and just being able to start your project. And you can see that you can see single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and you can see how it's jumping over top. So you're working into the spaces in between the crisscross, just like so, and then the puff stitches are going to be working into the spaces that are created in between the single crochet. So it's actually kind of a neat idea. So as I mentioned to you before, is that we have to turn around the afghan. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't see that in here, and basically it's right here, the note. Okay, so the working in the 4th round with the wrong side, WS is wrong side, with the wrong side facing to emphasize the double crochet 5 together if desired. This will make the puff stitches jump out on the right side by turning it around to the back side that when you're going to do it. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense, and you'll see in this tutorial how that makes sense as well. So let's grab our first color. We're going to be using colors A and C today. A is the main color, and then C is the third color that you used, and you can be able to tell that within your project. Remember that the color choices are up to you. Again, you want to change colors in order to suit your particular project as well, because it's gonna just make it all tie together really nicely. So let's begin. I just have a quick pattern correction here before we begin mystery clue number 9. I actually made a mistake. I actually did the whole tutorial and I realized I had the wrong colors. So in today's tutorial it's going to be colors A and B. So A is the main color and B is the secondary, which should have actually been the actual coral color here. So what I've done by accident is that I used A and C. Remember that the color choices are completely up to you. I want to make sure now that I'm going to make it right. So what I'm going to do in mystery week number 10 is that I'm gonna switch around the colors. When it asks me to do the color C, I'm going to exchange it and use color B instead. So that's just something that I'm going to do for myself. Again, the colors are completely up to you, and sorry for my error. So let's begin. We're going to use the color A, okay, and we're going to insert a hook and get it ready. So we're gonna start off in any corner. Any corner doesn't matter. The right side is facing you, so it's the good side facing you, and you're just going to join it into the actual corner just like this. So just I take both and I just wrap around and I bring both through the slip stitch or the slip knot just like so, and then I just take one through. I take them both through just like this, and it secures it really securely for me. So let's single crochet into the same space, and then we're going to chain 1. So we're gonna chain 1 and then single crochet again and chain 1 and single crochet again. Okay, so there's a total of 3 single crochets into this with the chain 1 in between, and then once you have that done, we're just going to chain 1 and then skip right over top of the actual crisscross and go into the gapping space for a single crochet. So chain 1, skip over the next crisscross, go right into the gapping space, and you're going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to take you to the first corner, and then I'll show you how to turn the next corner, and then basically you can do this whole step on your own. So chaining 1 and single crocheting in between each one of the double crochets. When you get close to the next corner, you simply just want to continue the same pattern that you're doing. So now we're going into the corner next, so you chain 1 first, single crochet into the corner space, chain 1, single crochet again into the corner space, chain 1, single crochet again into the corner space. So you have 3 single crochets, chain 1, and then just jump over the first crisscross again and then continue. So you do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back up where we'll just finish this off and then get you on to the next round. When you get all the way back around, you're gonna get into that last one between the crisscross, chain 1, and then you're just going to join it to the beginning of where you started, just like so. And now we're just gonna fasten off that yarn, and we are simply then gonna weave in our ends like we have been all along, and then I'm gonna get you started on the next round. So let's begin the next round, and simply I'm looking at the front side right now. I want to turn it around so that I'm looking at it from the back side. So we're gonna access everything with the afghan turned away from you. So this is the wrong side, so this is the right side. So let's begin, and let's grab up our yarn and get started with that. Now when I'm looking at the pattern, you're going to be noticing that we're going to be doing puff stitches. Okay, and these are 5 together double crochets, and basically they're going into the same space and then they're gonna come together at the top just like you see, and these are going in between all of the single crochet spaces that you see on the actual project itself. So it's right in the single crochet, and then each one of the single crochets here you're going to be noticing that you're going to be putting in double crochet, or sorry, yeah, double crochets all the way. So it's a puff stitch into the gap, and then it's a double crochet into the single crochet right beside it, and this will keep it in balance. So when you're really looking at it, for those that are not understanding crochet patterns 100%, this double crochet, the way that it's done, is considered one stitch, and this is one stitch. So if you have like a gap space, or sorry, a gap single crochet, gap single crochet, this is one stitch and this is another, so it keeps it in balance with each other. So let's begin and start off with a slip knot with the color C. In my case it was pink, and I want to start off right into the actual corner itself. And so when I'm starting off into the corner, remember that there's 3 single crochets. So there's 1, 2 and 3 right into there, and I want to come right into the middle one of the 3 right into the stitch itself, so not a gapping space. And I want to join my yarn, so I just take both and I pull it through and pull it through, and we have to chain 3. So I'm just gonna use the both strands for 1, let the strand fall out so I can trim it, 2 and 3, just like that. So that's how I would begin, and let's just continue along. So in the exact same stitch we want to double crochet 2 more times. So in all the corners in the very middle one of the single crochet, there's going to be 3 double crochets so that it can successfully turn the corner. So now that my 3 are in here, all I need to do then is that I need to start with my first 5 double crochet together. So to do that, we have to wrap going into the space, so it's the next space still on the corner if you're looking at it from this point. So it's the space in between the next single crochet, and we're just gonna wrap, pull through, and then pull through 2 and hold. And we want to do a total of 5 times like that. Okay, and this is, we're just gathering our stitches together, so we're not finishing the double crochet, just like that. Okay, and I want a total of 6 loops on my hook by the time I'm done. Why is there 6 when I only did it 5 times? Well, we have to start somewhere, so there's gonna be a beginning one. Once you have that done, you just pull through all of them just like this. Okay, and then we single crochet into the next, or sorry, we double crochet into the next single crochet. Just like that. Easy peasy, right? So let's begin. So there's another gap space. So in the gap spaces we are putting in the 5 to get double crochet together. So we'll just keep gathering this. And you're going to notice as we just move on a little bit here that the puff stitching that we're doing, or the 5 double crochets, is gonna start belling out toward the back side, which is good. There's 6 on my hook, pull through everything, and then double crochet into the next single crochet that's available to you. Okay, so do it again. And you will get in a rhythm. This round will take you a little bit more time because you gotta think about, you're putting in 5 double crochets into each one of these gap spaces. That's only 1, and so it takes probably 5 times longer. So there's your 6, pull through everything, and then double crochet into the next single crochet. So when I turn it around, you'll notice that the puff stitching is gonna start belling out toward the back side, which is the good side of the project, which is what you're looking for. So continue that along this, and when I get to the next corner I'll meet you back up, and then I'll show you how to turn a corner. I'm coming up to my first corner that I'm gonna be turning around, and I'm just going to continue to do my 5 double crochets together, and I'm just finishing up my last one before I get into this corner space, and I want to show you what you need to do. It's actually really simple. It's just basically the way that we started has a similarity. So I'm gonna bring this together, and then I'm going to single crochet into the next, or sorry, double crochet into the next single crochet. Okay, so we're right into the gapping space. So we have a single crochet, we have a single and single, and then remember that we have gapping spaces in between. So right in the between the first one and the second, that is a gap space, so we're gonna fill that in with, yes, that's right, we're gonna fill that in with the 5 together crochet, double crochet, I should say. Okay, so I got there and pull it through. So the one in the middle is just how we started, so it's going to be 3 single crochets into that, or 3 double crochets into that. Sorry about that, I don't know why I'm getting my crochets mixed up today. So there's gonna be 3 double crochets right into the middle, and then we go into the next gapping space for another 5 together. So the 3 right in the center of the 3 double crochets right into the center single crochet allows it to turn the corner effectively. Got my 6, pull through, and then we're just single crochet or double crocheting into the next single. So that's how you would turn a corner, and then you just carry on the same thing going all the way around, and then just in the corners. That's how you would do it. So when we come back, I'll show you how to finish off this round, and this is this clue for today. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I'm just about to finish this rotation. This ends today's mystery, and we're going to be finishing off the mystery next week, and it's gonna be really quite fun and exciting, and I wanna make sure that we get everything done. This is the only round that we're gonna be turning the project around. Now gotta remember that we put in our chain 3 and then 2 double crochets into the corner. We still have a gapping space, even though it's kinda hard to tell this at this point. We just gotta make sure we're maintaining that to keep it in balance. So I'm putting in my 5 double crochets together. You will agree at this point this is a very long revolution, but it actually gets much easier from here on in. So pulling it together, and then what we're just gonna do then is just join it with the top of the chain 3 that we started with, just like so. Just like so, fasten it off, and when we come back basically next week, we're going to finish this off. You will notice that when you're looking at it now is that because we did turn it around, the puffs are on the front side of it, so it makes it very appealing at this point. So finish this off, and we'll see you again next week. So there you have it. That is clue number 9. You can really start seeing the borders coming together, but there's still some amazing components to do before this is complete altogether. Don't forget, we love to see your creativity. Make sure that you do post photos online. We'd love to see your work in progress as you go. Don't be afraid to put them on Yarnspirations as well as the Crochet Crowd Facebooks, because we really do want to see your creativity unfold right before our very own eyes. So join us next week for the final clue on being able to complete your Afghan, and I'm telling you, this final clue is what makes this Afghan really amazing. Until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Who's ready for the final mystery of the mystery crochet along? I am. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Today is the final mystery clue. Today is what's going to make your Afghan amazing. Today is going to finalize. It's been 10 weeks. Let's get this thing done. Enough chatting. Let's go right to the tutorial and show you how to get started. Of course, if you need the written instructions as well as the pattern diagram, you can also see that on Yarnspirations.com. There's a link in the more information of this video. Welcome to week number 10. This is a preview to what we're going to be doing today. You're going to be doing 3 revolutions and finalizing your Afghan today. We have 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to start off with color A and then go to the next color and then come back to color A again, and it brings this entire Afghan into conclusion, and it is absolutely an amazing journey. So let's begin deciphering week number 10. Well, this is it. This is clue number 10. This is week number 10 today, and we're going to finish this Afghan off. Now, as you would have noticed in mystery week number 9, I admitted that I accidentally made a mistake by not following the color scheme. I did A and C when I should have done A and B. So today what I'm going to do is that when it asks for me to do C, I'm going to switch it with B. And so, you know, the color choices are completely up to you. I do apologize for my error, but hopefully it works out for you. So just make sure you continue to follow the pattern if you wish, or just you know, substitute your colors if you wish as well. So let's move on and look a little bit more carefully at this pattern. So here's the final diagram of the mystery today, and in the instructions it calls for A, C, and A. So there's 3 final revolutions, A, 1, 2, and 3. So the first one's gonna be color A, the first one's C, and then the next one's A again. So it's for me it's the blue on the interior and exterior, and then the next one is right in the middle there. So because I have actually made a mistake and I made the color here, I made that as being C, I'm going to switch this secondary color off to B for here. So again, this is your own creativity, and basically these revolutions do not take much time at all because it's basically just jumping in just a single crochet, chain 1 space, and then single crochet for 2 revolutions, and then the final one we do the picots. So let's begin, and let's grab our yarn, and this is color A. So this is the main color of your afghan. All of our color joining that we go to start with, we'll start in one main corner. You can choose which one it is, and if you can see that there's a chain 3 and then 2 double crochets here, this is the last revolution that we did, and then basically everything is starting on top of the chain 3 just like so. And then when we come back to this next revolution, we're going to be stopping in the middle here. So let's begin, and let's create a slip knot to start. So grabbing any main corner, you're going to notice that you have 3 single crochets right into the corner itself. So you have a puff stitch on both sides, or a 5 together double crochet. I keep calling it a puff stitch because it looks all puffy. So you have 3. So we're gonna start off in the very first one here, and we're going to begin. So we're just gonna just attach it. So I just grab both and I wrap around. I always have this phobia of things falling apart, so that's the way I do it. If you have a better way, you're more than welcome to do so. So once you have that done, you just chain 1 first, and then we're going to single crochet into the exact same spot. Okay, so single crochet in, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're gonna come into this next one right, it's the center one of the 3, and you're going to single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet into the exact same stitch. That is your corner turn on there. You're going to chain 1 and then single crochet into the final third double crochet there. Now it becomes really easy as we go all the way around. We're going to chain 1, we skip right over top of this whole puff stitch, and we go into the top of these double crochets just like so. So if you're not sure where it is, just be consistent. If you don't see it, it's not obvious to you, so you chain 1 and then single crochet. So you can see there, here's the next stitch. I'm just gonna skip over that in one and just single crochet into the next. Okay, so that's all it is. So what I'll do is I'll get to the next corner, and then I'll stop, and then I'll show you what to do in the corner, and then we'll carry on for the next 2 revolutions after that. So I'm coming up to my first corner. I am maintaining the same pattern. I am looking for the 3 single crochets that are the 3 double crochets right in the center. I'm already on top of one right now. I'm going to chain 1, and then I go to the middle one just like so, and then I chain 1, single crochet into the same one, that's the middle one of the 3, chain 1, and then single crochet into the third one of the 3. And then we maintain the pattern again. So chaining 1, skipping over the next 5 double crochets, and then just single crochet into the next, chain 1, and etc. So continue that same pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you back up. We'll fasten this off and we'll get started with the next revolution. You should be pounding this one off pretty quickly. It's a really quick round because there's lots of stitches to skip as you go. So I've come all the way back around, and I've chained 1, and I just simply want to just join it to the beginning single crochet that I started with. So that's the final of this round. So I'm gonna finish off this, fasten this off, and when I come back we're going to start on our next revolution, and this is going to be really quick and easy from this point. So let's begin our next color. Your color will be color C. I'm using color B for mine, or you could be using another color. It depends what you're looking for. So what I'm looking for at this particular point is that I'm looking for the middle of the 3 double crochets, and I'm looking for where the 2 single crochets are together, and what we're going to do is that we're going to play within the gapping space in between those, and we're just going to go into the gap space and join on our color. And I'm joining it as I always normally do, and I chain 1 using both, and then I let the one fall out, and then I can just secure it later. So I'm going to single crochet into this same space, and I'm just getting this straggler down out of the way so I can concentrate, and then chain 1 and then single crochet again into that same space. So this entire revolution is going to be really easy. It's just simply chain one and we single crochet in between the gap spaces, the chain one gap spaces, as we're going all the way around. So the only difference is that the corners are handled slightly different from the last time, and so we're just single crocheting, chain one, single crochet into each one of the gap spaces, just like so. This makes this last color look like it's broken up, and it gives it a really desired look when it comes to going around your particular afghan. So without further ado, continue that. I'll meet you up in the first corner just to review on how to turn the corner, and then we'll get this revolution ended, and then we'll go for our final revolution to bring your mystery to a conclusion. So I'm coming up on the very first corner, and you're going to be doing this on all of them. Again, we're just maintaining this pattern. Okay, so we're looking for the ones that are right in the middle. You can see that they're in the same stitch. So we're going to single crochet into that gap, chain one, and then single crochet again into that same gap, chain one, and then move along to the next free gaps for you, moving down the other side. So the corners are really easy on this one, and just blaze along, and I'll meet you back up. We'll finish this one and we'll start the final revolution. Okay, and coming up all the way back around, I'm still maintaining my pattern. I just want to make sure I get into everything properly, and remember that we already started off in the center one of these, so we just have to chain one and then just join it to the beginning single crochet that we started with, just like so. So this concludes off this color. Let's fasten off and let's get on our final color, which is color A, and that's the main color of your afghan, and this is the final revolution. Most of you are going to be kicking up joy today as you finish off your project. Remember, we will be looking for your photos at the end because we are doing a yarn giveaway for this, and remember this is a limited time only, so you have until the times on the posting in order to submit your finished afghan. I'm giving you 1 month for those that have a job and etc., that don't have a lot of time, so that you have time to be able to finish, so you can be part of the party at the end. So let's just fasten this off, and I'm going to get the final color ready, and let's begin. So here we have the final revolution, and basically what we're going to be doing is extended picots. So you can see that this is extended picot. So some people think it's a picot or a picot. It's a picot. That's how you say it. So what we're going to be doing is that it doesn't matter which one you start on, honestly, because basically we're going to be doing an extended picot into every chain one space going all the way around, including the edges, including this turn. So we're going to, just for the tutorial reasons, we're going to start off where it says to, but it doesn't really matter if you want to start off somewhere else. So with the afghan facing you, of course, with the right side, let's grab our color up and let's begin with the slip knot, and let me show you how to do an extended picot. I think you're really gonna like this. So what it's saying to us here is that we're going to just start off right here. So we have made the ones right in the center. Okay, there's a chain one in there, don't forget that. I'm gonna start right here in this chain one space, and I'm just going to join it. So just go right into a chain one space, just join like so, and we are going to chain one, and we're going to single crochet back into that same space to start off with. Okay, so let's get that done first, and then we can get on with the basics. So what we have to do at this point is that we have to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Coming third chain, our third chain from the hook, so 1, 2, and 3, we're going to slip in to the chain like so, grab the yarn, pull through that one and this one, chain 1, and single crochet back down into the same gap space. And this straggler I'm just gonna trap into position, and I'll show that, of course, that again. Okay, so that's one done. So let's go on to the next space. So we're just gonna go and single crochet into the next space first, and then we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and count back to the third. 1, 2, and 3, going in, pulling it through and through. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1 and then single crochet back into the same spot. Okay, so you get these really awesome looking things. So let's go to the next one. We're going to single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and coming back down to the third, going in, pulling it through and through, chain 1, and then single crochet into the same one. So this is called an extended picot because you are doing the extended chain, and basically if you pull it apart you can see that there's a gap space before the picot. So let's begin again. So just 1, 2, 3 and 4, coming back down to the third, pulling it through and through, chain 1 and then single crochet back in. Starting on the next one, so this one's completely done, so you single crochet to start and then 1, 2, 3 and 4, count back to the third, pull through and through, chain 1 and then single crochet back into that starting. Then you jump to the next gap, so single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, going back to the third. You can get yourself into a rhythm with this pretty easily, and then chain 1 back in. So please do that all the way around, and that concludes this revolution as we go, and I'll meet you back up and we'll finalize this whole project off together. I'm coming all the way back around and I'm still doing my extended picots, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'm just finishing off this afghan. For you, you'll be just finishing off. You'll be so happy. We're gonna be so excited to see your creativity unfold. We are going to be doing a giveaway on the crochetcrowd.com for 3 lucky people that finish and submit a photo to us, so you can read more about information about that. So let's get the final stitches in here. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, coming in to the third, chain 1 and back in. So when I go to finish off, what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna join with the a slip stitch to the very beginning. So I'm in the gap here, so I'm just going to join with the slip stitch down here, right in the first single crochet that we started with, and then I can fasten off, and this project is then complete and you are completely done your mystery at this point. And this has been a really fun journey, and I'm really excited about the look. You will notice that this afghan will come together perfectly with the kind of colors and etc. that were used throughout the square. So it's been an amazing thing. It's the border that really sold me on this concept when I first saw it back in December of 2014. I was so excited about this afghan because the border really made the squares really pop off the afghan. So I'm gonna do a better job and finish that off, and this is what it looks like, and we'll see you on the crochetcrowd.com. So that's it. That is the final clue of the 10 clue crochet mystery along. I hope that you've loved this afghan. We want to see your photographs. Please post them on the Yarnspirations Facebook as well as the Crochet Crowd. We really want to see your creativity. But you know what? We have one more video to do, because now it's time to launch the 30 days. I'm gonna give you 1 month in order to complete this entire project. Even if you've been late to the party or you're just seeing it for the first time, you still have time, because you have 1 month to submit me a photograph so that you can get some free yarn and some Crochet Crowd gifts. Without further ado, I'm going to put something right here on this video. Bing! That's my sound effect, and I'm going to speed you to the next video in order for you to learn more on how to get involved in earning yourself a free prize. Compliments of Yarnspirations and the crochetcrowd.com.